Okay, we're going to look at an effect that's based on a wonderful mathematical principle. And I found this video on Coach Trick, and so I will add a link to the original performance in the description below. Now, what I'm going to do here is a simplified version of what he does there, with the focus on explaining why this effect works. Okay, so for this routine, you actually begin with a shuffled deck of cards. Now, eventually, we're going to need a key card and a spectator card. Okay, so I've kind of pulled those out right now. So this is how the performance would go. You have the spectator mix the cards as much as they would like. They can shuffle as much or table wash or whatever they would like to do. Okay, and then you tell them, now I'm going to have you choose a random number between 12 and 20. And so what I want you to do is go ahead and count to whatever number you've chosen. Okay, so for example, let me just push off a few cards here. Okay, so something like that. So what you would do is just take a peek at that card and then put the cards back on top, hand them to me. Okay, now to help us see what's going on, the card that I'm peeking here, I'm going to put the Queen of Hearts in that position, even though it originally would have been the 8 of Hearts. I'm going to put the Queen of Hearts there. I do want to note that I did count off 10 cards. You don't tell the spectator this. I counted off 10 cards. The 10th card now is the Queen of Hearts, okay? But it would have been the 8 of Hearts, okay? And then you give the cards to the spectator and you say, okay, have you chosen your random number between 12 and 20? And they'll say, yes, they have. And so let's say they think of the number 18. Now, they don't tell you that number right now. It's a secret number. And so you have them secretly count down to the 18th card. So we'll kind of do it together here. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. So the 18th card is right there. This would be the card for them to remember. We'll go ahead and just substitute the Ace of Spades in there. Okay. So it matches my right up here. And then they would just carefully put the cards back on top without reversing any of them, just as you demonstrated a moment ago. Okay. And then tell the spectator, in an effort to kind of lose their selection somewhere in the middle, have them cut off about 2/3 of the deck. More than half would be fine, and complete the cut. Okay, so this is a random cut here. Okay, and then you can turn to them and say, do you agree that none of us could know where your card is now? And most certainly they will. And then you can ask them, by the way, what was the random number that you thought of? And they'll say, well, it was 18. And then you can ask them, do you think your card is still in the 18th position? And most certainly they'll say, that's highly unlikely, since they just freely cut the deck. And then you just agree with them and say, none of us could possibly know where your card is now. And now, in an effort to mix the cards further, what we're going to do is go ahead and just deal out the cards. Let's deal them out into, let's say, 8 piles. Because cutting the cards in some ways doesn't really mix the cards very well, right? It just changes the relative position of things. A great way to mix the cards is to just deal them out into a random number of piles and then randomly stack the piles. Okay, so that's all we're doing here. I'm just dealing out into 8 piles. Now I'm going to have you decide how we randomly stack these. Top right, okay. Bottom left, okay. Far left on the top. Bottom right, top right, bottom right, bottom, and then the top. Okay, and I want to emphasize that those were free choices that can be made by the spectator, okay? And then tell the spectator, now certainly no one could possibly know where your card is at this point, but nonetheless, I want you to think of your card clearly in your mind. I want you to picture the value, the suit, the color of the card, and hold that image in your mind. And I'm going to try to get some feedback from you as to whether or not we've arrived at your freely selected card. Okay? So focus on your card, and of course for the spectator it'd be the ace of spades, but we wouldn't know that as the performer. So you just begin dealing the cards. We're trying to get a feel for whether spectator's card is staring up at us. You go, no. Let's see. No. No. I'm not getting any sense of anything here. Is your card even in here? I wonder if you've even seen it yet. I haven't felt anything. I hope you're really focusing on your card. Oh, man. I'm not getting any impression whatsoever. Oh, now, wait a second. I think I might be getting something now. Wait, is it this one? No. Did I pass it up? Let's see. That one? No. Oh, I'm getting a very, very clear signal. Oh, yes, indeed. I am 100% confident that this is the card that you saw. Is that the case? And then you just have the spectator confirm, yes, that's the card. And how in the world could you find it in this randomized deck of cards? Okay, well, the secret you've already seen. Okay, so this ace was right here. The next card is your key card. Always, always, always. And I'll explain the secret behind that in just a second. So your key card, so originally it would have been this card, right, in the shuffle deck. But I'm trying to simplify it here. So the key card will always be the card after the spectator's card. So you can even do this kind of miscall here and go, oh, wait a second. No, that's not it. That's not. Oh, it's this one right here. So once you reach your key card, you know the card before that is guaranteed to be the spectator's card. Okay, so what's driving this? Why does this work? And it's the same principle driving the coach trick routine, even though his routine is completely different. Okay, so here's the secret. We note the identity of the card in the 10th position. The spectator has some number thought of. So they think of 18. They're remembering the 18th card from the top. So to get the number of piles that you need to deal, remember I dealt 8 of them, you simply take the spectator's number 18 minus 10 gives us 8. So if you deal out the cards into 8 piles, as we did here, it will place the Queen of Hearts and the Ace of Spades in what's called an adjacent cyclic relationship. And all that means, in this case, is that when you deal these out, they're going to land within the same pile among the 8 piles, and the Ace of Spades, or the spectator's card, will be the one above your key card every single time. And if you go through this with the Queen of Hearts face up, the Ace of Spades face up, and then do everything that I did, you'll see that with the dealing out into 8 piles, it will be the case that the spectator's card will be above your key card. And so that's how you know it is their card. Okay? So really the only thing that can change here is the spectator may choose a different number between 12 and 20. So let's say they choose 15. You would just take 15 minus 10 to get 5. So you would deal out into 5 piles like we were doing for the whole deck. And it will still be the case that the spectator's card is immediately above, or it comes before your key card in the counting out of the cards, trying to get a feel for where your card is. So what's really driving it is this fact right here, that these two cards, because of the number of cards between them, they will land in what is called an adjacent cyclic relationship, which simply means what I've mentioned here. They'll be right next to each other, and so you'll be able to spot the spectator's card right away. Anyway, that's the secret to this effect as well as the one on the left. So thank you for watching, and take a look at other videos on the Absolute Math Magic channel.